Hi, this is Charlene from My Transgender Nation, and we're here today with another episode of Coming Out, Jessica's interviews. Today we have Jessica's aunt, Sue. Hi, Sue. How are you?
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today.
Unfortunately, we do not have Sue's face on the screen. We're having a little bit of a camera issue today, but you get to hear her beautiful voice. And that will at least get us what we want, which is a great conversation. So we'll go from there.
Okay, great. So Sue, tell us a little bit about your relationship with Jessica throughout her life.
Well, the first things I remember, we lived in Mount Carmel, and she would come up and play with Martha, and her mother and I would do shopping and different things together and take the kids with us.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun, and I've always known her since, well, she did come down once. This was before she changed. She came down once. I have a picture of her sitting on my sofa.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in a house instead of an apartment. And he was always a doll. I always loved him very much. He's also my godchild.
Aww.
Yes, when he was baptized, I was there.
So you were very close your whole life?
Yes, I really feel we were, even when we didn't see each other. Yes.
Okay, great. And Jessica, why did you ask Sue to be on? She's obviously special in your life.
Definitely. So I remember times in my life where I was having issues and just needed a shoulder to cry on after my parents had passed away. And I would just show up at her house in town and just say, hi, I'm here, just sit down and chat and stuff. Mm-hmm. So she's always been there for me in my corner. And also when I decided to come out and I had to tell family members, her brother, Herb, who has since passed, I wanted to tell both of them. And when I told both of them, neither of them even blinked an eye. They're like, are you happy? And let's move on from there. Mm-hmm. So it was such a comfort to know that they were in my corner, because I always wondered in my own mind what it would have been like if my parents were still alive and I had to tell them as an adult that I was going to do this. Somehow I don't think my father would have ever been okay with it, because his reactions when I was very young, wanting to do feminine things, was to completely blow up. But in any case, I had my aunt and I had my uncle in my corner, and it was super, super important. It made it so much easier to transition. So I thought it would be fun to have her come on and just, get a perspective from somebody from an older generation and how they perceive what's going on.
And Sue, did you have any idea that CJ wanted to be Jessica?
Well, see, I had no idea. No, and yet it didn't shock me at all. I don't know why. It just didn't. I was just like, oh, okay, that's what you want. That's fine. It just wasn't for some reason, it wasn't a surprise, even though I only knew him as a nephew. Now he's my niece, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever people need, they should do.
Yeah. And Jessica, tell us about the day that you told your aunt.
Well, that one I actually don't remember as clearly as a day I went to visit her for lunch. I'll tell you about that, because that one sticks in my mind more. Okay. So Sue lives down south, and I live in Connecticut. So she has part of her family still up here. So when it's warm up here, she'll occasionally come up to visit. So after I had transitioned and she knew all about it, my office was in the same town where her family member lives, her daughter. And her daughter invited me to come to her house to see both of them and have lunch. So I was dressed for work, and I dress up for work, and my office was there. So at lunchtime, I went over to my cousin's house to see my cousin and my aunt Sue. And I came in and sat down at the kitchen table, and we were just going back and forth. And I was telling Sue some story. And she said, I got to tell you something. And she put her hand on my knee, and I'm like, oh boy, what's this going to be? And she looked at me and says, you have your mother's style. Do you remember that, Sue?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she told me that, that to me, it was the most heartwarming thing she could have possibly have said. And it was worth its weight in gold for sure.
And what do you remember from that day, Sue?
I just remember I thought he looked wonderful.
Yeah.
That's all it meant to me. I just thought he looked wonderful. He seemed happier than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Because before he had a little reserve in him, and I thought it was because he was a guy. Guys just usually are a little reserved around the women, but he this time he had no reserve. He was just open and friendly, and I thought, oh, this is nice. But that beyond that, I mean, that life is full of changes, and if you can't accept changes, you might as well give up. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have children that have been through all kinds of things, and if I couldn't accept their changes and what they did, I just don't know how I'd manage. I just don't worry about it. It's what they are and how it is. And I have wonderful kids and I have wonderful nieces and nephews. So what more do I need?
That's right. How do you feel that Jessica is different than CJ, or is she?
Not really. No. Underneath, no. It's the same person.
Mm-hmm.
But outside, yes, she's happier. Jessica is happier than CJ was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, no. It's the same person inside, the same warm, loving niece, nephew, whichever.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't bother me at all. As long as he's healthy and happy, what's to worry about?
That's right.
You know?
What would you say to other aunts and uncles who have someone in their family going through a transition? How can they support them in the best way?
To accept the person and quit worrying about the outer part. Just accept the person for what they are, for the love and the warmth in their heart and what they're going through. Worry about them a little bit, but then when they get there and look so happy, how can you be anything but happy for them?
Mm-hmm.
So I am very happy for Jessica, very happy that she's happy now. And Jessica, that's important to me.
What was your biggest fear when you told your aunt?
Well, I think I sort of mentioned it, but I'll try to expand on it a bit. Sue and her brother Herb were from my parents' generation, right? And I remember being, which we've talked about in the past, but I'll say it again. I remember being 5 years old and asking my parents for, like dolls that my sisters were getting at Christmas time, and then Easter asking if I could get petticoats like my sisters. And at Christmas time, I asked for the dolls. I asked both my parents, and my father went ballistic. When Easter came, I was smart enough to just go to my mom, but my mom's response was, "Oh no, dear, you can't have that, and you can't ask for anything like that ever again. It won't end well for you or me." So with that in mind, Jessica went underground. She didn't have a name yet, but that the whole feminine side of me had to go underground and hide all that. And so I kind of grew up with the idea that, anything I was feeling was wrong. That's the way it was perceived back then. So my biggest fear as an adult going to my aunt and uncle was, I was hoping for the best, praying for the best, but you don't know what's going to happen. So, it's a gamble. Are they going to accept me for who I am, or is there something that was, in the way they were brought up and what they were taught to believe that's going to get in the way of that? And thankfully, they were both smarter than that and accepted me for who I was, which was all you could ask for.
It's so nice that you had the support, because so many people don't.
It's very true. So many people do not. It's kind of scary to hear the horror stories. I see them written online all the time of people going through this, and people getting thrown out of the house or no longer even allowed to talk to their family members because they've done this. Why? What are you hoping to accomplish there?
Right. And so that's one of the reasons why My Transgender Nation was born, was so that you and your support system could be a support to others. And it's
a good idea to do, because this is the kind of thing that other parents have to learn to accept in their children, whether they are transgender or just gay or whatever. You have to accept it, because that's what they are. So big deal. God made them that way. God loves them. So what right have we to say, you're wrong, you shouldn't do that?
Right.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've recently gotten messages online of people telling me that, I was going against God's will. I,
No, no,
I didn't
no.
choose this, this, who would choose to do this on their own? It's like,
Right.
it's not a choice. This is
But
how it
besides-
is.
Besides, Jessica, how do they know it's God's will? Who
I
are they
know,
to
I
tell
know.
you?
Yeah, do they have some kind of divine
Yes.
hotline, that allows them to hear
They
God
cannot get
directly?
between you and God. You have a special relationship with God. It's yours. It's not
Exactly.
theirs. They don't know anything about it. So you know God loves you as you are. He loves
Yeah.
you dearly.
Yes.
And that's all that counts.
Yeah, we're all God's children,
Right.
in whichever form we end up being in. So people,
That's
and it's, I don't know, they get so excited like it's about them. It's not about them. It's about the person going through this,
Mm-mm.
So just accept them. They're still a human being. They're still the same human being. The same blood is running through their veins,
And
They're
I
just-
love him. He's her. She is beautiful.
Mhm.
She's warm. She's loving. She looks good. So what's to worry about?
She's successful.
Oh, yes, very successful, which is nice.
Sue, did you have a lot of questions for Jessica as she was going through her transition?
No, I really didn't. I knew that her sister was there to help her when she went through the transition, and I know her other sister was behind her the whole time.
Mhm.
And I think that's wonderful to have two sisters who are loving and supportive. And I don't worry about what other people think. I know what I think.
Mhm.
And as far as I know, my kids are very accepting. Irene is. He goes to see Irene sometimes, and
Yep.
it's fine. So why worry about it?
Yeah. Is there anything that you would like as a final comment or anything to other, aunts or special people in a person who's transitioning or a person who's coming out their lives, and what to say to those people, like, kind of another aunt or a mom or a dad who might be having a hard time with
All I can
this?
do is to say my religion helps me because God made Jessica. God made her the way she is, and God loves her dearly. So why the heck have I got reason not to love her just as dearly as much as I can? And I do. I love you, Jessica. Period.
Thank you. And I love you too. And I'm very grateful that you were willing to do this today. This is fabulous.
Yeah, this is great, Sue.
Okay.
Jessica, do you have any final comments or thoughts?
So as we said, so many people get hung up on allowing somebody else to go through this. And it's not about you. It's about the person going through it. So take a deep
Exactly.
breath, get over it, and allow them to be what they need to be in order to survive. Would you prefer that they be, tormenting themselves on the inside and thinking about, suicidal thoughts or something because they can't do this, which, because you don't want them to? Do you think that's a better way for them to live their lives? I don't think so. I think you would want your family member or friend to be happy. So allow them to be happy and realize that this is what they need to do. Nobody chooses it. And live your lives. Go on. You probably have a much better relationship with the person once they finally get to be happy than you do with a person who's struggling, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's as we're going through these interviews, one of the things that everyone so far has said was that as CJ, you were so much more reserved. And as
Absolutely.
Jessica, you're so
Absolutely.
much more open.
He was much more inside himself.
Mhm.
Now he's just there.
Yeah.
All is there to see, and he's beautiful. She's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And Sue observed this from afar. I lived my younger life as a wild child. I was angry at the world because I couldn't be me, and I choose to go at everything at 110 miles an hour. I didn't care. It didn't matter to me whether something bad happened or not, because I was locked in a situation that I could not fix and saw no way out of. So I was quite a wild and reckless child.
But I never knew what you were going through, or I would have
No,
tried
but
to help you. But I
you
had
saw you
no
saw the end
idea.
result, but you didn't know why, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought you were wonderful.
Well,
So
thank you.
I liked him for being a little bit of a rebel, because I was a rebel and I was always a rebel. So I saw a little bit of me in him.
There you go.
That's great. Well, Sue, thanks for coming on with us today and for being so supportive of Jessica and for anyone else who needs help or would like to find out more information, you can go to our website, which is mytransgendernation.com. You can also follow Jessica on Facebook or Instagram, and also our YouTube channel, which is All My Transgender Nation. So we hope that you reach out and know that you're not alone. And Jessica is always available for questions and advice, comments, and we're here to help. So thank you
Absolutely.
very
Yep.
much.
And we got more interviews coming. We've got some already lined up. I got some more yeses this week from friends and family. So we'll be doing plenty more of this. Sue, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I greatly enjoyed having this conversation with you.
Thank you, Jessica. And I'll see us when I come up in July.
All right. Sounds like a plan to me.
I can't come up until July, but I will be up there.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, Sue.
Bye
All
now.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.